UVA's Tony Elliott is a big fan of Wake Forest coach Dave Clawson. Chris Graham here for Augusta Free Press. Now, this Dave Clawson, the coach down at Wake Forest, is one of my favorite coaches because he goes to places with no resources and he just wins. And he's done it everywhere he's gone. We'll go over that here in a second. Another big fan of Clawson is UVA football coach Tony Elliott. Quote, since I stepped into this role, I tell you, Dave Clawson has just been awesome. Just to watch his leadership at the coaches level in the ACC with the way he conducts himself, the way he leads meetings. This was Elliott has at his weekly presser on Tuesday. It's game week for UVA and Wake Forest Saturday night at 7 o'clock down in Winston-Salem. Now, Clawson got his first job as a head coach at Fordham back in 1999. He's been around for a while. He in that first season, Fordham was 0-11. By year four, 2002, he had them winning 10 games and going to the FCS playoffs. Then he went to Richmond, went 3-8 in his first season there. And what you're going to understand here as you go through these first season records for his teams, he's inheriting bad situations. So the first season is going to be a little bumpy. 3-8 in his first season at Richmond that was in 2004. By year four in 2007, he had the Spiders at 11 wins. He left for his next job, which was at Bowling Green, but he left behind a team that Mike London, on his way to being the UVA coach, led to a national championship the next year. It was off to Bowling Green for Clawson. He was still at 2 wins in year two. He obviously inherited a pretty tough situation there. That was in 2010. By his final season, 2013, so the fifth year of his tenure there, 10 wins at Bowling Green. Clawson's first two teams at Wake won 3 games. We're familiar with that at Virginia, right, with Tony Elliott. Clawson's next six played in bowls, and his 2021 team won 11 games, went 7-1 in the ACC, played in the ACC title game, won the Gator Bowl, finished number 14 in the national rankings. They'd be right on the cusp of the playoff now with a 12-team playoff with a resume like that. So here's Elliott. You look at what he's been able to do with that program, the amount of wins in his conference. He's up at the top in terms of the last 10 years or so. So for us, this is a program type game, Elliott's saying, referring to the UVA-Wake game Saturday night, because we get to evaluate where we are because they play extremely hard. So, just a little bit about this Wake team. I focused on the offense this week. It's a unique option attack, and it can cause some trouble for opponents. Virginia hasn't played Wake for a while either, so it really could cause some trouble for the UVA defense. Wake put up 193 yards on the ground on North Carolina A&T in the 45-13 win in the season opener last week in Winston-Salem. Clawson and his offensive coordinator, Warren Ruggiero, are using a tough to defend zone read option, spread option attack built around the quarterback. In this case, it's grad transfer Hank Bachmeyer and the tailback, Damon Claiborne, who gained 135 yards on the ground on 17 carries last week. What Elliott had to say, it's definitely unique, and they've done a really, really good job over the years of being able to create their own niche. It's built off a lot of the option principles that you see, and then the way that their style of play, you've got to figure out how to attack it defensively. Now, Bachmeyer, most recently of Boise State, passed for 263 yards and 3 TDs. He only ran the ball twice, which is sort of unique in a offense that is read option based. In the Wake system, the quarterback's more like a point guard, deciding whether to stuff the ball in the belly of the fullback, like in a traditional triple option, handing off to a tailback, or either pitching to a tailback, maybe if things are running down the line, or to a wide receiver in motion, or pulling the ball down and actually looking downfield. The read option aspect to this. That's the difference with a triple option. You can actually you coach and train your linemen to stay within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. So they're not legally downfield, even on run blocks, so that the quarterback has all those options at his disposal. Now, the way Elliott says you have to defend this offense, you want to force the quarterback, he said, to become a runner. That's probably the option that you want the most because the backs, they do a really good job. They're slow. Once they get the ball pump, and then they're gone. They can find creases. And so they hide in between those big offensive linemen. You can't find them, and they spit out. And that's what they do. They lull you to sleep, and then they sprint through those lines. So you have to stop the run. You also have to account for the quarterback, and you've got to be in position on the back end so they can't expose you down the field with explosive plays. It'll be a challenge for UVA on Saturday night, no doubt, with this offense that they really haven't seen in a while. We're going to have more tomorrow. I'm recording this on Thursday. We're going to have more tomorrow on the UVA Wake game, a little bit more of a preview of the Wake team. Also a notebook, inside look at some UVA news and notes going into the game Saturday night. If you have any questions for me, any comments, please email me at chris@augustafreepress.com.